Hello everybody, it's Mish here and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thanks for stopping by. I hope you stop by again. And if you're returning, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Today I'm going to be doing another page in the Daphne's Diary Gluebook journal. We've been working in this journal now for over a year and we have some really cute pages. It's really coming together. This is the one we did last week, or last week. And right now I'm thinking it's one of my favorite. I just love it. But we are going to be doing another one. If you haven't seen my other tutorials, it is in a playlist, Daphne's Diary playlist on my channel. So the images that I'm going to be using, let's just set this out of the way for a minute. The images that I'm going to use is out of number 4, 2024, and it's this girl here. I'm going to cut her out, and I have a couple ideas from other bits of the magazine. I'm not exactly sure yet, so I'm just going to go ahead, cut her out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I just found a piece of background paper from just one of my paper pads, and I've cut her out, including there was some little flowers around her, so I've cut that out. I wanted something to sort of ground her, and I couldn't find anything in the magazine that I liked as much as this little piece that I had cut out from a previous magazine. I keep all kinds of little offcuts and stuff, and I would have no idea what magazine this came from, as I don't, write the issue on every little piece. So, but, look through the magazines that you have, and I'm sure there'll be something there that you like just as much. So I'm going to get this down. And it's just a representation of ground, obviously. There's no real earth or ground there. And I'm only going to, for right now, tack down one of the sides and the bottom, because I want to get her feet in there. But I'm not exactly sure. I think with her dress and stuff, it would be right around there, I guess. So I'm just going to get her down. I'm using just a little bit of Elmer's glue. This is glue all, so it doesn't have as much water content as the Elmer School glue, and I find that if I just use it sparingly, it doesn't warp my paper. If I use too much, it definitely does. So I didn't necessarily want her completely centered. Oops, decapitator. But before I get all that down, tacked down on the side, I had a little flower, and again, this was just in my stash, so I'm not exactly sure what issue this came from. But you can look around, and I liked this because it had a little butterfly there. And then this did come from the same page as what I cut her out of. So I'm just going to get that down in the background as well, just to add a little background images. And I was thinking I would put it right with that one, but it might clash. I'm just going to put it over top of her dress, I think. Like because then it's going to cut out the butterfly. So I think I'll cut off that pink flower and then put this further down, so that what I think I'll do though is take away some more of this white space. I didn't fussy cut enough. It's a little bit overcast this morning and foggy here in Halifax. It's a nice cool morning. I'm not sure what the temperature is, but I'd say 20 degrees maybe. That's the temperature that Chester and I love the best. And the air is quite thick, if you know what I mean. It's not really humid, but it's the type of morning where the seagulls are inland some, so I don't know if that means we're going to get a bit of rain later or what, but I don't live as the seagull flies. I don't live far from Halifax Harbor. if I was to drive there, it would take, oh, without too much traffic, I could get down to parts of the harbor in 10 minutes, 10 or 12 minutes. They did a lot of development, which I'm not a fan of, because we used to be able to drive right along the waterfront and look out to George's Island and stuff, and now there's apartment buildings there and that. And so I don't really like that, but okay, so we've got a bit of flowers down. Now, from the same page as she was on was this other little flower, which I'm going to put somewhere there. And then these flowers I just had in my stash. I've used them before, and they came from an issue back last year, I think issue 2 or 3. Or no, issue 3 or 4. And I don't know the exact issue. I just, when I'm finished doing cuts, I have little DVD holders that I put like objects. This here would be tags. This is just bits and bobs that I've done with a punch that I could add accents to a page. These are little embellishments I've made, so on. So I just went to my one I have for flowers and saw these, and I thought they were a nice contrast to the background. And when you're doing journaling, it is nice to have a little bit of contrast. So we've got those at the top, and then I'm going to pull some of that pinky rose, or not, like reddish rose color down to the bottom. And I think that little one that I cut off the top there, I will put down at the bottom too, to get a little splash of color down there. So I'll probably put those couple things down there. But the other thing that I wanted to put on the page is I got from page 36, and there were a number of little images on that page of little animals and stuff. So I've cut out this little rabbit from that page. He was in the middle there. So I've cut him out, and because it looks like, I know she's got a book in her hand, but it kind of looks like she's looking down here and not necessarily down there. And so what I think has happened is she's been out in the garden, and little Peter has come along with his little bouquet of, I'm going to say radishes, his little bouquet, and he wants to give it to her. So, and she's looking down at him. So I thought that was kind of precious. So I have put him on a little bit of cardstock, and the reason I did that is I just wanted to make him a little bit more dimensional without actually propping him up. So he's kind of jumping up in the air and saying, "Here, I have something for you, my lovely friend." And it kind of looks like she's looking down at him in my mind. So I thought that was so cute. And then we'll just get another little flower kind of in behind them, kind of there. And then this little one that I had here, maybe we'll just go kind of there, I think is cute. So then I thought about like embellishing her bow. The issue that I was running into is that, as with a lot of things in drawing, the tails aren't, they don't go the way a normal bow would go. So I thought about just transposing that with just another bow, or cutting off the tails and just putting a bow on there so that the tails are part of this bow. But I didn't really think that looked, I don't know, I wasn't really happy with that look. So as I usually do, if you watch my channel, we like to embellish things. So I went to my gems. I got something stuck to me. Oh yeah, and the other thing, before I forget, I'll get back to the gems. I looked around for a butterfly, and the only butterfly I could find There was two. One I didn't want to cut because it's on the back of a watercolor flower. So one that I found was sort of on the second page, the index page there, which I thought might work, but it's on the back of a watercolor flower, and I know I'd rather have the option of using that than not. So I just went along, and the article with the girl who does all the images and makes all these mobiles and stuff. Anyways, it was on the page with that article, her Claire Celeste art. The issue that I had, which I just lost my butterfly, is that there's a butterfly on each page, but it's back and it's opposite each other. So instead of maybe putting the butterfly down here for us people who like to use the images, they're like back to back. But I don't really think that people who make magazines really think about people who love the magazine for other purposes besides reading, meaning collage, other kind of art that we use magazines for. And I think that if I was to edit a magazine, that's one of the things from, my experience doing stuff like this, that I would always be looking out for. Oh, that's a great image. Somebody might want to use that for something. Let's try and not put another good image on the other side. But that's my pet peeve. Okay, so then we can just put that little butterfly. I think I'm going to move it down as if it's just come off. And speaking of butterfly, my butterfly bush has, I don't know if you remember me saying, I thought it was going to die because it just looked so sad at the beginning of the year. But it has revived, and I have now probably this blooms that are from the bottom of the bloom up, they're like that big. And I saw 2 butterflies already on the bush. And otherwise, I really don't see butterflies in my garden very much. So I was really happy that I made the effort. So I've decided that I'm just going to put a gem in the middle of the bow instead of trying to. But if you have a little bit of ribbon and a little bit more patience, by all means. So then I had these self-adhesive sequins that I got. I believe this is Stampin' Up, that I thought would look good in the middle of that little flower, so that it just adds, it grabs the light and reflects a bit. So I thought that was cute. And then let's put a little one on the butterfly, because I like doing little bodies on the butterflies. And this one here is just a little round one. So I'm just going to go with that. And you could continue on and on. And then I never really, now that I'm thinking about this, I haven't really looked at any sayings. So let's have a look now and see if we can find something that matches kind of the sentiment. Maybe throw kindness around like confetti, because I think it's good to remember to be kind. And he looks like he's, let me get that up. He's, trying to be kind, offering her his little bouquet of radishes. And I think that would take a lot of love from a rabbit if he offers you his radishes. That's a metaphor for life. So I really like how that turned out. I think that's so cute. So I'm just going to put it into my book, and I made sure that it fit, because some of my pages now are a little bit bigger and smaller where I've had to cut them, but that fits perfectly in my book. So I'm just going to go away and glue that in. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so we fit it in, going along, dum-de-dum, and there she is. And I think that's just a lovely little page to add to the little pages that we already have. So I hope you didn't enjoy that. I hope you did enjoy that. And until we meet again, I hope you stay safe and well, and bye for now.